my favorite interests currently is that Queso just actually has a full on life outside of basically his Twitch. And it's a life that he's never really shown off outside of like a little bit here and there. And what you might not know, like if you don't know Queso, is he's basically a streamer that got massive over the last few years and has basically just been playing video games like the entire time. So like you would never picture him really as like this guy who goes outside and like does a bunch of stuff. And it's like, in from his experiences, you can tell he's worked with his hands a lot through his life, and he's probably done a lot of things in general. But you would never guess, like, man, he owns farmland or he takes care of animals or something like that. So it's always very interesting to see. And recently, he has had some basically like health issues, nothing like super serious, just some stuff here and there. And because of that, he's been showing off his land that he basically bought. And dude, this is sick. Honestly, this is probably one of the best uses of like a YouTuber's money I've seen, is or a streamer's money. Is he basically has this plot of land where he has started taking in like old horses, like old working horses that uh just aren't really good for like for work anymore, so like they're just like living out their last years. He's taken in like cows. He built like a barnuminium. Like, dude, this is basically 99% of people's dream life that he is building. And I actually really really respect Queso for this, because he's not like, man, I got all this money, let me move to LA, move into this mansion, do all this stuff. Because I think there is definitely a side of YouTube that is cool with that, but there's also a side of YouTube that a lot of streamers or YouTubers go to that and then they just go broke or they fall off or whatever it is and lose all their money and basically just throw it all away. So I like to see this use of it. I like to see the use where it's like he's actually doing something that I feel like a lot of people dream of, and he's showing the realism behind it instead of like trying to be overly aggressive about his content or trying to change it up. He's like, no, dude, I'm a funny guy who plays video games. And like that's that basically at the end of the day. And I think that's one of the reasons that makes Queso just so unbelievably enjoyable, is him just like sitting down, playing a video game, and just like having a good time no matter what is said, I think is great. And then also seeing his life outside of it where he's just a normal dude. He's not trying to go flex. He's not trying to do something crazy. He's not, taking 600 trips a year. He's just a normal guy who is like, yeah, I mean, I love animals. I built like this house. It's basically like his dream house. It has like a gym, a place for his cars, has, a bedroom, like all that stuff. And then he still has enough money at this current point in time, at least I would assume he does, to where he could probably live comfortably for the rest of his life if he so desired to. But he still comes on and he puts on the same energy and he puts on the same humor every single day to like continue to make people smile and to make people laugh. And because he just enjoys it instead of just making up some like random excuse to do it. Because I feel like a lot of YouTubers over the years just end up doing it for the money. Obviously, there is like good ones out there. I think like let's say like Shroud. I think Shroud has like always been really good at just playing video games, and like yeah, obviously he makes a lot of money from doing it, and he made a lot of money from doing it. But he's just always loves getting on and playing games. Same thing with like Summit One G or people like that. Like Nade Shot has been become popular once again. I watched Nade Shot though, like even when he was doing his vlogs, and he wasn't that popular. So I've always loved Nade Shot, but like he did kind of go through that phase that I talked about where it's like he moved to LA and then he got this apartment and he basically just went through this time where it was just like him spending a lot of money and going on trips instead of him just like focusing on like video games or something like that. And I just love the fact that he's kind of come back full circle to that, because I really think that's what content creation is about at the end of the day. Not exactly video games, but making content that you enjoy and really just like honing in on like making something enjoyable to watch. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I do rant a little bit, but yeah, I'm just absolutely loving where like the state of content creation is going as of the current point in time. Because last year, the state of content creation actually was making me like I did was making it almost where I didn't want to do content creation anymore. Because when you just see like IRL all the time, and it's just like people going to LA and just living in like a mega mansion, and like that's what makes gets the views, makes the content. I just think that's boring. I do, and there's definitely people who love it, but for me, I love to watch like a guy just do something simple. I'll watch the videos of the guys who like go out in the wilderness and will build cabins. I'll watch the videos of like people just playing games. I watch a lot of Jinxie. I watch a lot of Summit, and it's like those videos are always interesting because they're doing something that you could do realistically as a human without having to have millions of dollars, right? And I think that's what makes those content creators just so interesting at the end of the day, similar to Queso, where it's like you don't need millions of dollars to do anything that he's doing, right? To stream, you maybe need like I would say to stream, you basically just need a phone, realistically. To stream games, you need a console of some sort. You don't even need like a good camera. You can literally use like your phone camera to get the Barnuminium. Like yes, it does cost a lot to build that, but you can slowly build up that price over time. Like slowly take out loans and stuff like that. Like it's all realistic in today's day and age. Where going to LA and living in a mega mansion where you're spending, $5 million a year to rent it isn't realistic for the normal person. And I think that's why that type of content will it kind of just go the same way it used to, where it's interesting in the moment, but it doesn't recycle, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on content creation and also why I love Queso just in general because of how genuine he is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below and have a wonderful night. Peace.